Imagine you're standing in a courtroom explaining the value of a mature oak that was destroyed during construction. Or you're consulting on a property where a heritage tree was severely damaged in a storm, and the owner wants to know what it was worth. How do we determine the value of a tree? Not just its beauty, not just its shade, but its real monetary value. This is where plant appraisal becomes one of the most fascinating and complex areas of arboriculture. For the BCMA exam, and for real-world consulting work, understanding how arborists calculate and communicate tree value is essential. Today we're going to explore the principles, methods, and terminology behind professional tree appraisal. And by the end of this chapter, you'll understand how arborists translate living trees into defensible economic valuations. In this podcast, we're going to explore the appraisal process used to determine the appraised value of trees and landscape plants. We'll discuss how arborists collect both qualitative data and quantitative data to estimate value. We'll also examine the major valuation approaches used in arboriculture, including the trunk formula technique, cost compounding technique, and various income-based approaches like direct capitalization and discounted cash flow analysis. Along the way, we'll explore concepts like depreciation, replacement cost, contributory value, and the principles that guide professional appraisal. And we'll also touch on legal considerations, such as casualty loss, diminution in market value, punitive damages, and statutory value. These ideas are not just academic. They influence insurance claims, legal disputes, property transactions, and urban forestry policy. Let's start with a simple but important distinction. Price is what someone pays. Value is what something is worth. A retail price in a wholesale market or retail market reflects what buyers and sellers agree on at a particular time. But appraisal is different. An appraisal is a professional opinion of value, developed through a structured appraisal process. The result of that process is called the assignment result, which is the final value conclusion supported by data and analysis. In arboriculture, plant appraisal is the discipline used to determine the monetary value of trees and landscape plants. That final figure is called the appraised value. But for an appraisal to be credible, it must demonstrate both accuracy and precision. Accuracy refers to how close the estimate is to the true value. Precision refers to how consistently measurements and calculations are performed. Professional appraisals follow established standards, ethical guidelines, and recognized methods. Ethics are critical here. Arborists must avoid bias, follow sound methodology, and clearly document assumptions and limitations. Now let's talk about property. Trees can be considered personal property or part of real property, depending on the context. Real property includes land and improvements attached to it. Real estate refers to the physical land and structures. Personal property typically refers to movable assets, like nursery stock or merchantable timber that can be harvested. In some cases, trees may be involved in real estate appraisal when their presence affects the market value of a property. This brings us to fair market value. Fair market value is the price a willing buyer and willing seller would agree upon in an open market without pressure. The market itself reflects supply, demand, and perceived benefits. Trees contribute many benefits to property. These include ecosystem services such as cooling, air purification, stormwater interception, and energy savings. In some contexts, we may assign ecosystem value to quantify these services. Sometimes this is considered public interest value when the benefits extend beyond a single property owner. Because many of these benefits are not traded in a traditional market, arborists sometimes use non-market valuation methods. These approaches estimate non-market value based on willingness to pay for environmental benefits. Now let's talk about appraisal principles. These principles guide how value is interpreted. The principle of substitution states that a buyer will not pay more for a tree than the cost of obtaining a comparable replacement. The principle of contribution says the value of a tree depends on how much it contributes to the overall property value. The principle of anticipation states that value reflects expected future benefits. The principle of balance reminds us that landscapes are most valuable when all elements are proportionally designed. The principle of conformity suggests that property elements should be consistent with neighborhood standards. The principle of consistent use means all appraisal components should reflect the same highest and best use, often abbreviated as HBU. Highest and best use refers to the most profitable, legally permissible, and physically possible use of a property. Understanding HBU helps determine whether a tree contributes value or represents superadequacy. Superadequacy occurs when a landscape feature exceeds what the market expects, and therefore may not add proportional value. Now let's shift to measurement. One of the most common measurements used in tree appraisal is diameter at breast height, or DBH. This measurement helps estimate trunk area and tree size. In some cases, arborists may also measure crown dimensions or height, using tools like a clinometer. These measurements support calculations used in techniques like the trunk formula technique. The trunk formula technique is one of the most widely used methods for appraising landscape trees. It estimates value based on trunk cross-sectional area, species rating, condition, and location factors. Another method used in arboriculture is the cost compounding technique, often abbreviated as CCT. This method estimates the cost of growing a tree from a young plant to its current size over time. The calculation includes planting cost, maintenance cost, and compounding growth investment. These approaches are part of the cost approach to valuation. The cost approach often begins with either reproduction cost or replacement cost. Reproduction cost estimates the expense of creating an exact duplicate of the original tree. Replacement cost estimates the cost of installing a similar tree that performs the same function. Sometimes the goal is functional replacement, rather than an identical reproduction. Functional replacement cost estimates the cost of installing a tree that provides equivalent utility or landscape function. Once cost is determined, we must account for depreciation. Depreciation reduces value due to physical deterioration, functional limitations, or external limitations. Physical deterioration includes structural defects or declining health. Functional limitations occur when a tree no longer performs its intended role effectively. External limitations might include nearby construction, right-of-way restrictions, or zoning constraints. When depreciation is applied to reproduction cost, the result is depreciated reproduction cost. This reflects the current condition and remaining life expectancy of the tree. Field-based arborist examples. Imagine you're inspecting a mature tree damaged by construction equipment. The trunk was struck, causing significant injury. If the damage represents a partial loss, the appraiser may calculate a monetary reduction based on lost trunk area or canopy function. But if the tree was removed entirely, the appraisal may focus on replacement cost or trunk formula calculations. In legal cases involving property damage, attorneys may ask about diminution in market value. This measures how much property value decreased due to tree loss. In some cases, damages may also include compensation for ecosystem services or aesthetic value. In severe cases involving negligence, courts may award punitive damages beyond basic compensation. This is why accurate documentation and ethical appraisal practices are so important. Diagnostic thinking for arborists. When performing an appraisal, arborists must carefully collect both qualitative data and quantitative data. Quantitative data includes measurable variables such as DBH, height, crown spread, and condition ratings. Qualitative data includes factors like species desirability, landscape importance, and historical significance. For example, a heritage tree may carry additional public interest value due to cultural or historical significance. A plant inventory often serves as the starting point for an appraisal project. This inventory documents species, size, condition, and location for each plant on a property. During analysis, appraisers must also acknowledge limiting conditions, general assumptions, and hypothetical conditions. Limiting conditions describe constraints affecting the appraisal. General assumptions outline accepted facts used in the analysis. Hypothetical conditions describe situations assumed for analysis, even if they are not currently true. Exam insight moments. This is a concept that often appears on certification exams. You may be asked to distinguish between replacement cost, reproduction cost, and functional replacement cost. Another common exam question involves understanding depreciation categories, such as physical deterioration, functional limitations, and external limitations. Understanding how these affect the final value is critical. Income and timber valuation. Not all tree valuation involves landscape trees. In forestry or timber contexts, the income approach may be used. Merchantable timber may be valued based on stumpage value, which reflects the value of standing timber before harvest. Appraisers may also estimate expected income using discounted cash flow analysis or direct capitalization. Direct capitalization converts expected annual income into a present value using a capitalization rate. The capitalization rate reflects risk, growth expectations, and market conditions. In some cases, regression analysis may be used to analyze relationships between tree characteristics and value across large datasets. Markets and data sources. Tree values are influenced by different market levels. The wholesale market involves growers selling plants to retailers or landscape contractors. The retail market involves plants sold directly to consumers. Retail price often differs significantly from wholesale price due to transportation, installation, and markup costs. Arborists must understand these market differences when estimating cost or value. Sometimes values are estimated through extrapolation when exact market data is unavailable. However, extrapolation must be used carefully to maintain appraisal accuracy. Rights and land use considerations. Trees are often affected by land use restrictions. An easement may limit how land can be used. A right-of-way, or RO, may restrict planting or maintenance activities along utilities or transportation corridors. These constraints represent external limitations that influence value. Utility companies may also value trees based on how they affect infrastructure or maintenance costs. In some jurisdictions, statutory value may be assigned by law for protected trees. Concept reinforcement and chapter wrap-up. Plant Appraisal combines biology, economics, law, and ethics into one professional discipline. Whether you're evaluating casualty loss or estimating compensation, the goal is always to produce a defensible, ethical, and well-supported estimate of value. In the next chapters, we'll continue connecting these principles to broader topics in arboriculture. You've been listening to the Arborist-podcast. Our goal is to grow our collective knowledge, one domain at a time, and we're glad you're here for it. If you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe to help us keep this momentum. Until next time, let's keep growing this community together. We'll see you in the next one.